if you're going to beautiful resorts in the Pacific or skiing in the Alps, you want to make sure that you have the opportunity to capture this experience, not only for yourself to look at later, but also to share with your friends and family.
You're listening to the Drone Radio Show podcast, the show about drones and the people who use them for business, fun, and research. Hosted by Randy Goers.
Hello, everyone. This is Randy Goers, and welcome to the Drone Radio Show podcast, episode 82. What do you get when you combine a 5-star resort with a drone? If you ask today's guest, he'd say you get an incredible vacation experience and the opportunity to explore a new technology. Bill Chen works at DJI Central Office in China in the Business Development and Channel Marketing section. There, he's charged with setting up new ways in which the company's products can be experienced. In 2016, DJI formed a partnership with Marriott Resorts to create a program that allows guests to learn how to fly a drone. Bill is here to talk about DJI, the partnership with Marriott, and how the Drone Experience program works. Let's pick up the interview where I asked Bill to introduce himself.
My name is Bill. I currently work in the business development and channel marketing teams here at DJI HQ. And essentially what we are responsible for is setting up new channels for our products to be experienced in. And a part of that is setting up strategic partnerships with industry leaders around the world. And I think to put this in the perspective, a big part of the particular project with the Marriott Group was tying in the value of having different consumer industries working with our products, whether the aerial-based drones or ground-based gimbal systems that provide a superior imaging experience for our consumers.
Now, everyone has heard of DJI, but maybe you could summarize what the company does and its place in the drone industry today.
DJI, as you may know, is the industry leader for the consumer drone and the aviation space in today's drone world. And essentially, our goal as a company is to provide a superior experience and a different perspective that traditionally hasn't been possible for the average consumer. When you think back 2, 3, 4 years ago, that's really when consumer drones started taking off. And if you go back to the Phantom 1, for example, before that, in the UAV and RC controlled space, we really didn't have a all-in-one package that was accessible to the average consumer. You had a lot of UAV hobbyists that would spend a lot of time and money in creating these beautiful drones, but nothing was really out of the box ready for the average consumer. And I think that's essentially what DJI noticed was lacking in the market. And we decided to come into that space and provide that superior experience for our customers. And as you may know, primarily our branding, I guess, for the mass market is as consumer drones for photography and cinematography. But more drone enthusiasts will know that DJI has had a history of working with industrial and enterprise users as well. Whether it's the Matrice 600 or even the Matrice 100 and the Agris machines. And so, in that sense, we essentially, as a company, is trying to provide a ecosystem for the UAV space, not just consumer, but also enterprise.
Did DJI start as a drone manufacturer?
As you may know, our founder and CEO, Frank, he's always been a hobbyist for flying vehicles, whether it's the early model helicopters or the drones as we know today. And so DJI as a company, we started off by providing parts and high-tech gear for the enthusiasts specifically. So your GPS modules, propellers, and platforms for people to start building their own UAVs. But as you can imagine, that really wasn't accessible for the mass market. And so I think, as a company, we realized that was an opportunity. And so we sort of expanded our offering from beyond just providing accessories and parts to building a drone, but we decided to build one that's ready to fly out of the box. Again, that's where the Phantom came in, all those years ago. And beyond that, we realized that even in the consumer market today, with the advent of consumer drone photography and videography, we realized that for people on the ground, we didn't have something that was suitable for the mass market outside of DSLR cameras. And so I think pivoting again to the Osmo series and the Ronin series, that's something we've been trying to provide for our users, consumer and professional around the markets around the world.
So let's talk about the Drone Experience program. Can you tell us about it and how it came about?
Definitely. What really happened was that we looked around the market and realized that currently our users are primarily old drone enthusiasts and as well as tech-savvy consumers that are coming into the market slowly. But we realized, for this truly to be a mass market product, we needed to target scalable ventures, especially partners that could help us in ways that drones are already being used in the space today. And I think we looked around and realized that, a lot of people would like to take their drones or other DJI products on holiday, especially at these beautiful resorts around the world. And that is essentially how the Drone Experience program was born. And the value there to be had for the average consumer is that if you're going to, a beautiful resort in the Pacific or skiing in the Alps, you want to make sure that you have the opportunity to capture this experience, not only for yourself to look at later, but also to share with your friends and family, whether on social media or through other platforms. And so we realized that in order for this to be, a more elevated consumer product, we needed to make sure there was a safe environment for consumers to be able to get their hands on our product and also to experience the magic of getting a new perspective in the air. And essentially, that's really what the Drone Experience program is about. And as you know, we started off particularly with looking at resorts and hospitality. And of course, this isn't just something that's limited to that space, but it's definitely a good starting point for us.
Did DJI approach Marriott, or was it the other way around?
DJI has a history of trying to pioneer in the space of technology. And in that sense, we wanted to be the first ones to reach out to these market leaders in hospitality like Marriott in order to make sure that we can provide them, first of all, an understanding of how the UAV technology can apply and elevate the experience for their consumers, but also how we can work together to build brand partnerships across two traditionally more disconnected industries, if you will. So yes, we did reach out to Marriott first, and they were happy to be on board with the idea. They're championing this idea that for many other players in the space may seem to be too extreme or perhaps ahead of the time. And so I think we really credit Marriott and their leadership team in seeing the vision behind this particular partnership and essentially how it can help both consumers and both players in the field.
The program kicked off in November, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So we've been able to run the program for a little over a month now, and the initial results are very, very promising. So as you may know, the first particular pilot site is at the JW Marriott in Zhejiang in Anji in China. And essentially, we chose this particular location because, first of all, it's in China, so it's close to DJI headquarters. It's easy for us to keep an eye out and make sure that things are working as they should be. And also, it's beautiful. The resort itself has lush bamboo forests. There are hills of tea plantations, as well as a beautiful world-class golf course. And I think if you take a look at the resort and look at the scenery from an aerial perspective, it was only natural for us to choose this as the first pilot location. In addition to that, the first couple of weeks have been very, very promising. The first week, as we started promoting the partnership more and more, we actually had a lot of local fans come out that weren't staying at the JW Marriott that decided, we love DJI products, we love the local view and the local resort, so why not come out and experience the products and be there for the grand opening? And so the first week was a really great experience for a lot of the fans of DJI. But over the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of the guests who are staying at the JW Anji actually come out on the weekends to experience a particular flying experience and also to see the resort from an aerial perspective.
If I'm a guest at a Marriott hotel, how do I experience the program?
Right now, we're trying to implement an online platform specific to each particular Marriott hotel. And essentially, you would then be able to book a setting before you even come into the hotel. But right now, how it is working is if you were to arrive at the JW Anji, you'd be greeted with, at the front desk, a banner and essentially a point of sales box that has the Phantom series inside and a brief description next to a banner that says, we have these particular experience programs every week on a Saturday. If you're interested in coming out this weekend, it'd be a great experience for you and your family. And really, it's a first come, first serve basis. We don't have a limit in terms of how many people can come out, but essentially we want to make sure that the people who are having these drone experiences, they're doing so in a safe and supervised environment, which is why actually for this pilot program, we have enlisted the support of one of our local dealers to come out and really be the hands-on expert behind the controls. So in that sense, a lot of the guests who are coming through to the JW hotel, a lot of them have never flown a drone before. And so we want to make sure that we're able to train these people in a safe and supervised environment on site at the Marriott Hotel, and essentially pique their interest in this particular industry and in this particular electronic flying device.
How often is the class scheduled?
The program right now is only open on weekends because, again, we want to make sure that the safety and legal side of things are covered. And so on weekends, we have our dealers come out to support the event. And like you said, it is sort of like a class structure where if you're a guest staying at the hotel, you're able to sign up for time slots that happen across the day. Every day we have about 3 to 4 slots where we guide consumers and guests staying at the hotel through the process of flying one of the Phantoms, as well as giving them an experience to capture image from an elevated perspective. And essentially, it's been working out pretty well so far. And we do want to make sure that we have a solid proof of concept before trying to push this project around other locations in the world.
So if I checked in at a hotel and wanted to learn to fly a drone, I could do that. Then with the assistance of DJI staff, I could take some images of the property and of myself.
Exactly. So the big part of the program is really, again, going back to the memory capturing experience and to be able to capture you, your family, or your friends, at a beautiful resort from a new perspective. And so essentially, we're training these guests to be able to not only pilot the drone, but also to be able to capture the contents of themselves and their friends and family at this particular location. And again, hopefully that'll entice not only them to potentially want to buy a particular Phantom unit, but also to experience some of the other resort locations for the JW Marriott and the Marriott brand around the world.
After going through the program, is there an opportunity to rent a drone?
Yeah, that's a good question. So again, for us as a company, leading in the drone space, we want to make sure that, we provide the best experience possible for our customers, but also at the same time, make sure that it's in a safe and supervised environment. So the ultimate long-term goal is, of course, to be able to, like you mentioned, have a rental program that would offer consumers the flexibility of taking a drone on site or perhaps even off site and being able to capture great experiences and memories. But, within today's legal landscape, not just in China, but also around the world, the whole industry right now is facing a lot of, legal obstacles to climb. And as such, we want to make sure that we're not in the line of fire for this particular drone experience program. And so currently, you're not able to just rent a drone through this program and take it off site. But the long-term goal really is to make it so safe and so accessible and so intuitive that anyone that has gone through the training program is then able to take one of our Phantom series, much like they would if you were to go to a resort and rent a kayak and really just go out and experience that and have that as part of your vacation or your resort experience.
Do you envision a time where the drone experience program is just another menu item at all Marriott hotels?
Exactly. So, a lot of these locations we're looking at for the Marriott Resorts around the world, they're beautiful beaches, they're beautiful skiing resorts, all over the world. And so I think the long-term goal for us is really within the perimeters of both legal and safety. We want to make sure that we can provide consumers with an elevated experience, with aerial imaging. And so I think the long-term goal is really to be able to walk into one of the Marriott brands, and as you're booking a room for the night or booking a weekend away from work, you're then able to add to your tab a rental for a Phantom, given that you have the training and the necessary piloting experience to do so. And essentially the long-term goal, we see ourselves as being, the Phantom as being as easily pilotable as being in a kayak or a paddleboard. And again, that's where the connection is with the resort program.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And I also see that because it's offered at a resort, chances are good that families will be able to participate together. They'll be able to share the drone learning experience in a safe environment.
Again, going back to your point, I think one of the big offerings we have, not just for the Marriott, but also for some of their other subsidiary brands, is really that family experience, like you mentioned. And with the advent of our new line of drones, the Phantom 4 Pro, as well as the Inspire series, as you may know, the drone itself has a 4-way obstacle avoidance system. And traditionally, the Phantom 4 was a groundbreaking innovation. I think with the new line of Phantom 4 Pro, that's something we're looking to implement so that, again, safety is at the forefront of this particular initiative. And once we're able to make sure we're within the bounds of regulatory environment and also the safety behind the particular program, then we can start discussing making this mass market and having the ability to rent this particular program and the drone out to consumers in the state.
I know it's early, but what have you heard from Marriott about the program to date?
Yeah, that's a good question. On their end, especially with the particular Anji location, they're very excited that the program's been able to take off and really, entice interest in the consumers and people who are staying at these resorts. In terms of best practice that we've learned, I think a big part is being able to get the word out there. Because right now in this particular market, as you can imagine, consumer drones are still relatively new in terms of electronics that is going mass market. And so I think our primary goal is to get the word out there and to educate people that a drone is not something you should be afraid of. And here's a particularly wonderful opportunity for you to try one out, on a family vacation or even on a business trip. And so really, to answer your question, it's to get the word out there and to make sure that people are on board with the idea as well as, excited about the potential to have these consumer electronics in the hospitality space.
When you see how the program has worked in this situation, are there any other industries that you think might also find some benefit?
We always want to be at the forefront of developing new partnerships, and a big part of our brand as a technology and leader in the consumer aviation space is to reach out to other industries and partners that we've traditionally worked with, either from a branding perspective or from an R&D perspective. And to answer your question, to seeing this particular project, we want to see this, in and all over the travel industry. And I think when you think of resorts play a very key role in the overall, value chain of the consumer travel industry. And so, thinking of some other major players, whether it be airlines or theme parks, these are some ways in which we think that the drone industry can expand into, and not just for DJI too. And so I think, to answer your question, the long-term goal is really to develop more within that particular sector. But beyond that, there's definitely a lot of opportunity for the consumer drone industry to expand outside of what is currently taking place.
I think one opportunity worth looking into is being able to rent a drone as part of a Marriott vacation. That way, travelers don't have to lug their own drone with them when they travel. That might be a real value-added service to some travelers.
Exactly. Actually, piggybacking off that idea, so maybe I hope this is not advertising on your podcast, but actually our European office out in Germany, they recently launched a new initiative called DJI Experience Namibia, which honestly is a really, really great experience and a really great initiative. And essentially what it is that they're partnering up with Air Namibia, the Namibian Travel and Tourism Board, as well as a local travel agency to provide an end-to-end solution to, having UAVs on a travel experience. And so, to my knowledge, it's a 5 to 7 day tour across the beautiful deserts and landscapes in Namibia, as well as the wildlife parks, in order to provide an aerial perspective for tourists that are already hoping to go to Namibia and experience the great outdoors, but also being able to add an aerial perspective to that is something that we're looking into. But again, with these particular projects, you're always looking to make sure that you're not, affecting the regulatory environment in any sense. So in that particular project, it was a boon for us to really be able to have the Namibian Tourism Board on board, because we're not trying to disrupt the regulatory environment in a negative way, while at the same time providing a safety net for those tourists to be able to have that elevated experience.
Switching gears a little, how long have you worked for DJI?
So I've been with the company for almost half a year now. And, as a growing company, we're always looking to get more and more people on board. And, even this project in the future, as you can imagine, we've got a couple of projects in the pipeline. And so we're always looking to get more people on board, within the company and also external stakeholders to be able to work with us to expand the drone industry further.
I would think that you have one of the more fun and creative positions in the industry, in that you're challenged to think about all the different ways that people can use a drone and how to bring that about.
Exactly, yeah. We're always looking to break new ground and to expand our particular service and products into new industries and new markets.
What do you enjoy most about working at DJI?
Yeah, I think, as you can imagine, one of the greatest things about working at the forefront for a leader of the particular industry is always being able to see new changes, whether that's R&D advancement, championing new products or new technology specs that, haven't been seen in the industry before. And I think in addition to that, it's really being able to push the limits of what is currently the scene for the drone industry.
Anything that we missed that we should talk about?
I think at the end of the day, really, our goal here at DJI, and as I'm sure for a lot of the other players in this particular industry, is to make it more mass market. And, not just for the sake of our bottom line, but also to be able to bring superior perspective and experience for a lot of the people that are interested in tech today. Because I think, if you look back 10, 20 years, as smartphones were becoming more and more popular, the key problem was really that people didn't know what to expect from the technology. And our goal here, not just with this project, but also, as a company, is to educate consumers, to tell them, look, we have a beautiful product, but it's not just for the professionals and professional cinematographers or landscape construction workers. It's also for you and I and everyone else and everyone else as consumers. And so, at the end of the day, we really want to bring this gift of flight to, everyone around the world.
And finally, what do you hope people walk away with after taking part in the Marriott Drone Experience program?
Good question. Again, I think as people are coming out of this program, one of the key things we want them to realize is that consumer drones aren't as scary as you might be made out to believe. At the end of the day, it's a product that serves to better the lives of consumers and to give them a platform through which they can capture amazing content and save memories of their beautiful vacation experiences. And I think, the ultimate goal for us in this particular space is to make sure that our customers are having the best experience possible, but also for them to create beautiful content that they can then share with friends and family around the world.
That's it for episode 82 of the Drone Radio Show. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Bill Chen of DJI and learning about the DJI Marriott Drone Experience program. I want to thank Bill for sharing the details of this interesting program and for taking the time to speak with me. If you want more information on the Drone Experience program or want to connect with Bill, check out the links listed on the Drone Radio Show website. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a positive review on iTunes. It really does help. And as always, I hope you'll listen to more episodes of the Drone Radio Show podcast to hear how others are using drones for business, fun, and research. For the Drone Radio Show, I'm Randy Gores.
This has been the Drone Radio Show podcast. More information on today's show can be found on our website at www.droneradioshow.com. If you're using drone technology for business, fun, or research and would like to share your experience on the show, please visit our website and fill out a guest appearance application. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media channels.